When we arrived in St. Maarten, it was a bit of a culture shock, as we had spent much of our time in the small remote island of Carriacou. It had been a salty sail just off the wind, but one hell of a rip. However, our visit would not be one of vacation, but one of preparation to make our longest leg yet, a trip across the Atlantic to the Azores. Hey everyone, we're Sailing Sweet Ruka. I'm Kate, this is Curtis, and Roxy the dog, and we're here to sail around the world via Cape Horn and the Cape of Good Hope. We like to take the sea less traveled and are ready for some serious offshore sailing, so come along for the ride and click subscribe. The work would start with a freshwater rinse of the deck and all of her working parts. Coming from the Great Lakes, we noticed how much more corrosive this salt water is.
What you doing?
I mixed some sargassum. Bound to find a few more of these, I think. Washing all the salt water off of our boat, averaging over 8 knots. We got her a little bit salty. So.
There were 2 large marine stores inside the lagoon that were just a short dinghy ride away. The stores were packed with just about anything you could imagine needing. We made many trips to stock up on spare parts and also some replacement parts to make sure the boat was in ship shape for her future voyage. Some of the spare items we sourced from the stores were a bigger bilge pump and hose, spare hatch levers and hinges, spare water hose and fuel lines, 3 extra 5-gallon jerry cans for diesel, 3 inflatable fenders for cheap insurance, a drogue for safety, and lots of spare sail repair material and hull patch material. While the marine stores were great, there were some specialized items that we had shipped in. This was another reason we chose St. Maarten. We had the ability to ship things with a cost-efficient shipping company and the knowledge of the island being duty-free. Trying to ship these items to a smaller remote island would have taken longer and been much more expensive.
Well, we got a bunch of spare parts shipped in. The first thing is a spare autopilot ram. Hey, Christmas present number 1. He looks like he's in pretty okay shape. We got him off eBay for about 1/3 of the price of a new one, and he looked like he's in pretty good shape. But he's a direct drop-in replacement for ours. So because we're doing a lot of shorthanded ocean crossing and maybe a little bit heavier weather than normal cruising passages, we definitely want 2 independent autopilots. And we didn't want to go with a wind system because of the added complexity and things on the back. After a lot of research, a lot of thinking, we decided to go with a B&G H5000. Right here is our computer, and right here is our pilot. So these look like they're in pretty good shape actually. We're getting them used. It's kind of risky buying electronics, but they seem to be a halfway decent price. Since we are doing the extensive passages, we also wanted a secondary autopilot steering compass. So this gives us complete redundancy. If we have a compass failure on one, we have a full separate independent system from start to finish.
Other objects we had shipped in were a spare starter motor, spare exhaust mixing elbow, a new Garmin smart transducer, 2 Garmin displays, a B&B Triton display, and a B&G H5000 display. That would all be installed later with our new autopilot. These items were a great deal cheaper to buy online and have shipped in.
Kate, want to open one? It's like Christmas.
We also shipped some smaller items, such as an electric hot plate in case we ever run out of propane for cooking, rope climbers so that we can climb the mast solo, a new headlamp to replace a broken one, a vacuum cleaner to clean up pet hair, a few odds and ends for Roxy, and lastly some gadgets for editing, such as a new GoPro mount, drone filters, and an extra external hard drive. One of the biggest projects we worked on was changing out the hatch seals of our leaky hatches. While it was only drips coming in, we didn't want it to be a small issue that developed into a big one. So while we had the time before takeoff, we changed those out. Getting the old stuff off was quite time-consuming and tedious, but in the end, we were glad we did it.
Replacing another hatch seal as we prepare for a long sail. Want to make sure these bad boys don't leak. Hi, Roxy. You want to do this?
teamwork on this one.
Yay. Another one bites the dust.
We were so determined to get the boat ready for the crossing and make sure we were absolutely ready for our weather window that we sometimes found ourselves working late into the night, but it was going to be all worth it in the end. Room of spare parts and things. Once we compiled all of our parts, we worked on packing the boat away for long-term offshore sailing. We wanted to organize our spare parts for ease of access and also to make sure everything was buttoned down properly for safety. It can be extremely dangerous if even small things go flying across the boat.
Time to go grocery shopping.
As the time grew nearer to our launch date, we needed to provision for, we figured, at least 3 weeks at sea, if not more, for a little safety. The largest grocery stores were a good drive away, so the most efficient thing to do was rent a car and load it up with everything we needed. After a look around the store, we realized this was another good reason we chose to leave from St. Maarten.
All right, let's go. We got ourselves some food, trying to provision for the crossing here, and we're headed back to the boat for a beautiful sunset.
After we stocked up, we took full advantage of the rental car and headed to the French side of the island for some legitimate French onion soup and delicious pizza. To be honest, I was excited to eat some food cooked by other people before becoming Chef Kate on our moving home for the next half of a month. In between boat work, we found ourselves at the local yacht club and the famous cruisers bar, Lagoonies, to take advantage of their Wi-Fi and download weather grids.
We're still downloading some new CMAP charts. The chart is 7 gigs, so it took us a little while, but we're almost there. So we've spent 7 hours here so far.
All for the price of a beer. Or 7.
Well, we're at 91% in downloading.
We treated ourselves to a few delicious bites more before our sea meals. We also got to watch a lot of boat action, of boats entering and exiting the lagoon from the yacht club. We even saw a Melgus go through, reminding us of our racing days. We were certainly getting excited to get back out on the water ourselves. Once the charts were downloaded, Curtis could spend some time focusing on weather routing and trying to find the best window. He also downloaded a newer version of Expedition, taking us from version 10 to version 11. It's our primary source of navigation out on the water.
What you doing, Roxy? Is it sunny and raining? There's a rainbow behind you. Yeah. We are getting ready to take Roxy to the vet to get her health certificate for the Azores. Guess we should have done some weather routing for the vet appointment.
Roxy, of course, needed a health certificate before going to the next country, something we've both become accustomed to. With her clean bill of health, we decided to tire her out with a bit of some swimming behind the boat.
Oh yeah, both of us having a little bit of fun and not just working on the boat. Well, everybody, today is the big day. I am just heating up some water for some coffee. The sun is not up yet. My snooze alarm was going off for I don't want to say how long. We'll take Roxy in one last time, strap down the dinghy. We should be just about ready to go. We'll be heading across the Atlantic. Here's to the first nap on the passage. Should be good. You can see our friends Slug Hunter over there. They are also heading across the Atlantic to the Azores as well with us this morning, so should be a fun ride.
You may remember John from the catamaran Slug Hunter, a friend we met in the island of Carriacou. He also had plans to leave from St. Maarten to the Azores and eventually to Spain, so we teamed up in choosing a good date to leave, as well as stocking up our med kits, as we are the only doctors we have while at sea. With the boat safely sorted, we also plan to keep track of each other using our satellite phones during the crossing. John got an earlier start than us, so we waved him off and then worked on final preparations for the long passage.
Dinghy is strapped on and we're almost ready to go. Can't wait!
To leave St. Maarten, we would need to sail around the southern side of the island before turning up towards our destination. It was light as the wind was shielded by the shore, until we turned that corner and really got moving.
We're sailing!
Time to take down our courtesy flag.
Join us next week as we set sail on our longest passage yet. It's just the two of us and our dog Roxy. Can we average the same speeds we did from Carriacou to St. Martin? Only time will tell.